Hey there fellow Factorians, Onerous here with another episode of my first Megabase. Last episode we got pretty much everything up and running. Our green circuits, we added in a whole lot more bots. As you can see, we're up to 7,000 bots and we're still using them all, which is crazy. Production stats, we are creating 4,000 green circuits every 5 seconds. That's almost 1,000 a second, which is insane. Beautiful but insane. As you can see, look at these guys are coming through. It's filled that last one and there's some left here, so we probably want to get a few more bots up there. And if you recall, if you watched the episode, we also had some serious power problems, which have been solved. And man, look at that, 5 gigawatts usage. It's getting up there. What I did is, previously we had a fence along here. I extended that up this way and put in another set of nuclear reactors here. And I did that so that we could get some room and we could just sort of dot a few more if we need them along the coast here. Because having them on the coast makes it really easy for the water supply, and we want to try and keep it close here because this is where we are producing our nuclear fuel cells. And while I'm over here, I might as well show we also set up some fairly serious guys here doing the reprocessing, because we had a huge backlog of 4,000 spent fuel cells? Is that what they're called? Spent fuel cells? Anyway, whatever they're called, we had about 4,000 of them. Used up uranium fuel cells, there we go. And I put in this so that we could actually get rid of them all. So as you can see over here, we've still got a few left around, but they will now no longer back up. The reason we only had one going before, and in reality, each of these has 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 32 going, and every 200 seconds they use up a fuel cell. So with 8 going, that's what, every is that 12 and a half? No, every 25 seconds. So every 30 seconds there was a spent cell coming out. And we want to expand this as well, so we're going to have some more. 8, that's 32, isn't it? Right? It was yeah, we've got 32. It's 200 seconds. So every 10 seconds, there we go. Every 10 seconds there was one coming out. So this way we will use them all up. And as you can see now, they're not getting used much. But once we add in a few more nuclear power plants, which we're probably going to need, because already, see, we're at 5 gigawatts. All right, but man, look at all this stuff coming in. It's beautiful, isn't it? We've got a heap of red, we've got a heap of green. I don't even know if we've got blue actually coming into the main base yet. I don't think we do. But we do have some blues. All these have 100 in them, so what's that? 6, that's like 2.5k right there. And most of these have a fair few blues in them as well, which is great. So blues are coming along as well, and modules are going really well. We've got a bit of a backlog happening here, so these speed modules are all full. Looks like this is the module train, and looks like red circuits is no longer needing modules. So what is left? We don't actually have a building train over here, but we'll just leave him back at the modules building. We've got some, oops, we lost it. We've got some solar power still being built, but that really doesn't help much. You can have a look at our production. This is when we started building some more, and as you can see, we've gone from 300 megawatts up to currently about 500 megawatts. So that is 200 megawatts of our production. So that is a 0.2. 200 megawatts is 0.2 gigawatts. So yeah, look, we had up to 5 before. That's what is that, like 4%? Yeah, just solar power, unless you do just insanely huge solar farms, they're just not going to cover the power requirements. Of course, they are supposedly better for UPS, which is a term that you'll see a lot in reference to megabases, which is something per second, units per second. No, it's to do with the calculations that the system has to do, and the more things that are happening, the more items it needs to take thought of, the more water, fluid, and in the case of uranium, nuclear power, the more heat it needs to take care of, the slower the system runs. Which, especially with my old rig, could be an issue later on. But for now, we're all right. Anyway, with all this up and running, like, we've got to ask ourselves what our next step is. And our next step is science. It's just all science. So I want to think about where we want science to be. I'm probably going to do it here. That can just be deleted. The reason why I'm going to do it here is because, well, actually, no. Why don't we do it here? I've got all this area. I'm in two minds. Let's start building it here and just see how big it gets. All right, I think that's a really good plan because we need 1,000 science a minute. Look at that little bit of tiny little bit here. Okay, I'm just going to fix that up. Yes, with 1,000 science per minute, it is going to be. Oh, bugger. All right. 1,000 science per minute. We are going to end up seeing. What is 1,000 divided by 60? Like 16 a second? Am I right? Yeah, 17 a second. So let's see what that looks like. Let's just start with the easy one, which is green science. And you know what? I'm actually going to remove all that. Let's turn our bots back on. All right, but we will need that, and looks like we're going to need that as well. All right. Okay, let's clean this area out a bit. So we've got some space. Thank you. Okay. So back to back to the good old days. We want to do red science. The very first science. It just needs copper plate and iron gear wheels. It needs one iron gear wheel a second. That is going to change slightly because we are going to be feeding in at a different rate. This produces 4 a second is the original numbers, and I'm really going to have to get out the calculator now. Okay. So we get 4 a second from 1, which is enough to support 5, because 5 of these will use 1 a second. Yes, so 5 machines use 1 a second. So that would make enough iron gear wheels. However, we've got to factor in our production, our productivity modules, because we're definitely going to module the crap out of all this stuff. Let me just bring up my calculator. So, if we are producing 4 a second multiplied by 1.3, we're actually producing 5.2 a second. So if we are producing 5.2 a second, if I just hang on. All right, let's think about this again. This is producing 4 every second. This uses 1 every 5 seconds. Yep. So one of these with production modules is enough for those. Now let's just have a look at our previous ratio because something's not sitting right with me here. So we had 1 already supporting 5. Let me just let's put these in here and have a bit of a look. Of course, we're not going to be belting this. We'll be roboting this, but geez, I just want to see what am I doing wrong here. So this produces 2 a second. There we go. That is it. What was I looking at before? I think I must have been looking at the required iron plate. But yeah, so this produces 1 every half, so it produces 2 a second, which will be 2.6 a second with our productivity bonus. And these guys use 5 of these use 1 a second. So 5 by 2.6 equals 13. So one of these can support 13 of these. That's an interesting number, isn't it? How do we want to do this? What I'm thinking is, let's just get rid of these. We definitely want to beacon this. Where are our beacons? Here we go. All right, let's grab a stack of them, and I think that is what we want. And yes, so like this. Okay, and that one does affect that one. There's a ding, ding, ding. That's all right. All right, still going. Now, so with this arrangement, we can do 13 of these. I really like some modules. Can I get some modules? How many are in store? Oh, we got a stack of them here. All right. Let's get a stack of those, and no, a stack of those. Should have a heap of those because we just dropped some off from the red. All right. So we want those in there, and then these do that. Okay. And we will start feeding in some things for this. All right. We actually have no modules on us, do we? Okay, that's interesting. We'll get the people to be bringing them in. Are there modules here? There are. Why aren't you guys doing it? All right. Well, looks like I'll align myself. There we go. Okay. So let's power this up. And how are we going to do that? Something. That's right. We can't actually put a power line in here for these. We need to do something like that. All right. Yeah, that's cool. We'll do that and just power it up over here. Where would that one be? And then go, I guess, there. Interesting. That doesn't place modules. Okay, that's fine. Let's put a few of these in here. Popping the power in. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now that we've got that, let's set up. So the reason I wanted to do that first was so that we could see the speed requirements for these things. Because remember when I cut and paste this tells you how many you need, and that is a lot, isn't it? Okay. Fair enough. Alright, let's do that there and that there. Happy with that. And like that. Let's do that. Okay. I'm going to double that because we've got two of these. And I don't think that is taking into account by the calculation. And then I'm going to copy that, so here, and we'll copy this over here. Alright, but after all this, we want to see how many of these we're actually making. So this is now making crafting speed of 5.5 and productivity of 0.4. Oh man, 1.4. Totally stuffed up. We'll actually get 1.4 times 2 a second, which is 2.8. So 2.8 times the 5 we can make each second is actually equal to, we can support 14 of these things. But of course that is not true. Okay, man, I'm spacing on the math here. So this has a crafting speed of 5.5, productivity of 1.4, and it takes 0.5 seconds. So 0.5 divided by 5.5, it's making 1 every 0.1 second basically. Multiplied by 1.4, it's making 0.13 a second. Okay, that's that is good. I'm going to add that to memory. Yeah, that's great. All right. No, I stuffed that up. All right, 0.5 divided by 5.5 multiplied by 1.4. That is how many. No, that is. Oh, I've done it again, haven't I? It takes 0.5 seconds to make 1. So it's actually making... Do I want to do this in per second? Oh, man, math on camera. Okay. It's making 2 a second. Multiply that by 5.5 crafting speed. It's making 11 a second. By 1.4, it's making 15.4 of these a second. And yeah, that seems to bear out. Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, I'm okay with that. So let's store that. So it's making 15.4 a second. These are using. Okay, let's get one of these. These are using 1 iron gear every 5 seconds. So 1 divided by 5. It's using 0.2 every second. But it has a crafting speed of 5.5 as well, so it's actually using 1.1 a second. There we go. So our 15.4 divided by 1.1 equals 14. Exactly 14. Alright, that's crazy. So we can make 14 of these. What is that? That's 8, 12, 14. Alright. So if this is making... Now, let's do the reverse of this, see how many we're actually making out of this. So our craft speed is 5.5. Okay, so it takes 5 seconds to make one. So 1 divided by 5 is making 0.2 a second, multiplied by 5.5, we're making 1.1 a second, multiplied by 1.4 productivity, we are making 1.54 a second. Awesome, that is a good number to know because we want to make 60 a second, don't we? Not 60, 1,000 a minute divided by 60, we need to make 16.66 a second. So 16.66 divided by 1.54 gives us 10.8. Okay, so we need 11 of these producing to give us 1,000 red science. Hey, that doesn't seem right. That seems too small. Is it really this easy? Well, I mean, this is only red science too. Let's not get carried away. But let's just see what happens if we do this. Alright, that will cover this array. Now, pump away, guys. Of course, we need somewhere to actually store all this. And really what we need to do is disconnect our red science over here. Get over here. Alright, I'm going to do it. I'm going to disconnect the red science. And then this will start actually using it. Alright. Can we... Let's have a look at our stats. In 5 seconds we are producing... Where is our red science? There it is. Alright. Every 5 seconds we are producing 100 science packs, 1.2k a minute. Hey, there we go. Look at that. That's it. Okay, that's all. That's a megabase. That is megabase level. Cool. Megabase level red science achieved. Man, that was honestly much simpler than I was expecting. That's cool. I guess that just means we now jump onto green science. Now, here we go. Things will start getting a little bit more funky now. Because our components are going to be a lot more... Oh, not a lot more, but slightly different. Alright, so what I want to do this time is actually work backwards. So, if we want 1,000 of these a minute. So that is, again, 16.66 recurring. We'll just say, yeah, we'll round it. We'll round that, so that's right. So we need to be producing 17 packs a second. So we're going to have a speed of 5.5 on these. So 6 divided by 5.5. It's actually going to take 1.09 seconds to create one. Multiplied by 1.4 for our productivity bonus. So we'll be making one every 1.5 seconds. So every 1.5 seconds, that doesn't seem right. We'll be making, oh, it takes 1.5 seconds. So we need to divide our 16.6 by 1.5, and we need 11. Man, I am getting so messed up. And this is the problem, isn't it? Okay. So let's go back to it. We need to produce 17 of these a second. It takes 6 divided by 5.5 multiplied by 1.4. One of these is producing 1.5 a second. Yeah, okay, this is right. So 17 divided by that is 11. It's actually over 11. So let's go 16. Okay, let's do this again. 6 divided by 5.5 multiplied by 1.4. Store that in memory. 1.527. This is important. Rounding is important at this point. So then we want 16.67 divided by that number is actually less than 11, 10.9. So 11 is enough. So we need 11 of these things going. So every 1.527 seconds, they are, of course, they are producing 17 of these a second. So we actually need 17 inserters and 17. I just went totally around in the math, but if we need to produce 17 of these a second, we need to provide 17 transport belts. Man, all right. It's also obvious in when you work backwards. So, what do we need for transport belts? They are just iron gear wheels and iron plate, I believe. So look, transport belts in the wrong section. Here we go. Iron gear and iron plate, and that produces 2 every half a second. So that produces. So we actually need half of those each second. Half that amount a second. Is that correct? Divided by 1.4, because we've got a productivity bonus. We actually need 12 transport belts. We need production for 12. Material supply for 12 transport belts a second. So that would be, let's see, that would be 12 iron plate, obviously, 12 iron gear wheels a second. So 12 iron gear wheels divided by 1.4. We need materials for 8.6 a second. So let's say we need to make 9 iron gear wheels a second. Divide that by 5.5 crafting speed. We would need a normal production of 1.5 iron gear wheels a second. And we're actually producing 2 iron gear wheels a second from 1 of these. That is most interesting, isn't it? Alright. This math is really starting to get very convoluted, and we're only in green science. I think I need to write some of these things down. Alright. So one of these maxed out with productivity modules. It's going to be the same as this. Alright, and that is enough now for our transport belts. Interesting. How many transport belts do we need? We need 12 a second. So 12 divided by 5.5 is 2.2. So if we have enough for 2.2 a second, and what are we making? This makes 4 a second. Alright, so theoretically that will make enough. Alright, you're making transport belts, and you're getting productivity modules. We don't have power to all your things yet, so let's do that in a way that looks okay. That one's good there. Alright, so that should have 5.5, 6.25, because we haven't got any productivities in it. Interesting. Okay, no productivities in that. We can do speed though. Okay, that changes things. Alright, so we need 12 of these a second. So divided by 8.75. No, we don't need 12 because we don't have productivity. So we actually need the 16.66. I'm going to call it 17. So 17 divided by 8.75. We need 2 a second, which should still be enough This should still be producing enough. Alright. See how many of these it needs. Holy crud. That is a lot. Okay, that's alright though. Wow, it actually ran out. Ah, interesting. This can't actually keep up. Okay, well that's alright. Something's wrong there. That's how we're going to do it. Ah, I see what's wrong here. Sorry buddy. Wow, that was 500. Alright, that's cool. There we go. That is just making a whole heap of things, isn't it? Alright, inserters are next. Inserters need green circuits, iron gear wheels, more iron gear wheels. Okay. We need to make 16.67 iron inserters a second. Alright. Can we put modules in inserters? No, no productivity modules in inserters. Okay, that's good to know. So that's going to be a 8.75 again. 8.75 crafting speed, yep. Why have you only got 6.25? Because I haven't put the speed modules in there, okay. But you're going to be, well, do we have enough iron gears? Probably. I mean, we don't need that many iron gear wheels going, and we don't need a backup of that much. Alright, let's just think about this for a second. Alright, so inserters, we need 17 a second. That means we need all these materials, 17 iron gear wheels a second. So that's where we get to 17 divided by 1.4. So we can put we can put our productivity modules in there. So that's 12. So we need 12 iron gear wheels a second for this. Over here we have 5.5 crafting speed, which works out at just over 2 a second. And what is this producing? This is producing 2 a second. So we do actually need another one of these. Alright, that's fine. There we go. And you, my friend, will get everything else from the store. Right, I'm actually going to do it this way for this. There we go. And there we go. Alright, there's our inserters done. Just going to shrink that again. Alright, that's great. Alright. So all this is enough production for our green science. Now, how many green science things do we need? Okay, this is the next question, isn't it? Alright, green science. Where is that one? That one goes there, and that one goes there. Okay, cool. And you're there. Alright. No, I don't want that. Undo. Let's get green science going here. And let's productivity these up. Alright, so there's our 5.5 crafting speed. So we need 17 of these a second. Each one of these takes 6 seconds divided by 1.4 divided by 5.5. No, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? So 6 divided by 5.5. So each one takes 1.09 seconds to produce. But we multiply that by... Yeah, here we go. So 6 divided by 5.5 is... I'm doing it the wrong way, aren't I? 1 divided by 6. That produces 0.16 a second. Multiplied by 5.5. And then multiplied by 1.4 gives us 1.28 a second. Store that in memory. And now we need 16.66 divided by that number is 12.98. So we need 13 of these. Okay. And they need supplies and such. Okay. This is fine. I'm okay with this. Let's get you in there. Let's double this amount. What do I say? Let's double that. 54. 54. Alright. And what did I say? 13. 13 it is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. And I just saw an issue we have. A couple of issues. Alright. For some reason I didn't copy these. Sorry, these ones. There we go. That's those ones that I'm copy in. Alright, and honestly I'm happy just letting these completely fill up. Let's have a look at okay, let's get one of these over here. I'm gonna have to do a bit more of an array here because these are going to start using a lot of bots, but let's have a look at our green science now. We are not quite hitting. Not quite hitting. Okay, what is the issue here? This guy's run out of output. This guy has run out of output. So these guys are stopped. They are maxed out. This guy is still going. This guy is actually running out of... We're into the same issue where the inserters are too slow. Does that mean we have to go to 2 inserters feeding this inserter? I think it does, doesn't it? So we need this guy going at full pace. But in saying that, are any of these actually slowing down? Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're all working at top speed. We're just not quite hitting the number, are we? Well, maybe my math was wrong. You know what? One thing we haven't done is actually extend this. Because that will have quite a large effect. Amount of modules easily fixed. All right, 50. Let's just get my bots to put that in. Thank you, thank you. All right, and now we can fill that back up. All right, now let's see if that is enough to pop us over. Oh, I saw it hit. I saw it hit K. Okay, that's pretty close. We can we call it that? What's actually holding us back? We've got enough of those. Oh man, it's just not quite there, is it? So in that regard, I am going to copy this one in. There we go, alright. And then we will need to extend this out. I don't think another one is required. Nope. Okay. And of course you have no power. That is the way of things. With this design, let's see if that makes a difference. Yep, perfect. Alright. Whew! Red and green science sorted. And look, I mean those are the easy ones. Let's not get carried away with ourselves here, but I'm amazed at how small an area that actually took. I think, yeah, we are going to use our whole base here. Let's get rid of some of this stuff that's no longer working. I'm not sure why that one's not working. There we go, alright. Yeah, I'm so happy with that. Man, it feels like the Megabase was within reach. So, look at those stats. Can't stop looking at them. 1,000 science a minute. We're on the way, boys. We're on the way, and again, easy ones, but let's not lose focus. Next up, tomorrow, I guess we are going to pressing all the wrong buttons. I'm so excited. We are going to what are we going to do? We are going to do military, I guess. Yeah, things start getting a little bit more complicated, don't they? But man, I'm just over the moon. I'm sure you can tell by my voice. This is the closest I've ever been to a megabase. 1,000 sites per minute on anything, and I just can't believe how small it is. Like, that is just a tiny little area for these sciences. So hey, I'm pretty excited. I reckon we're going to get there in the next, I don't know. I'm going to call it 10 episodes and we're done. We'll see. We will see. I will live to regret those words. All right. As always, love to hear your comments below. Would love to hear if my math is off, but efficiencies aside, we're hitting okay a minute. So maybe there is more efficient designs, and I'd love to hear about that if there is. But we are there, and that is the important thing. And look, if you've been watching for so long, I'd really love your support on Patreon. Obviously, like, it doesn't cost money to create videos on YouTube, but it does cost time. And yeah, time is money. I'm a writer, and doing this stuff is fun, but it's also time I could spend writing and actually earning money. So long term, yeah, if you want to keep seeing videos like this, I'd love if you could support me on Patreon. The link's in the description below, and look, as little as $1 a month will just help me know that this stuff is appreciated and it's worth my time doing it. So yeah, I won't probably won't harp on about that maybe until the end of the series, but it's there. If you're feeling generous, drop by. If not, don't worry about it. Keep watching, enjoy as we push our way towards the full 1,000 science per minute on all sciences. Man, I am so excited. See you tomorrow.